Welcome to Sunny's Mindset Lab podcast. Today, we're exploring the 5 major pieces of life's puzzle with the legendary teacher Jim Rohn. This book lays out a clear framework for building a meaningful, successful life by understanding and aligning the core areas that shape who we become. Thank you, Sunny. The 5 major pieces of life's puzzle is about helping people understand how life really works and how small, consistent changes in the right areas can completely change the direction of their lives.
Jim, you start with this really powerful idea that life is like a puzzle. Can you unpack that for us? What does that mean?
Well, Sonny, it's a way to understand that success isn't an accident, it's a design. And like any puzzle, if you're missing pieces or if you try to force them into the wrong places, you'll never see the full picture. You have to find the major pieces and understand how they fit together, one by one.
And those 5 pieces are philosophy, attitude, activity, results, and lifestyle. So today, let's walk through each one. I think it would be incredibly helpful for our listeners to see how one piece builds upon the next.
That's exactly right. They fit together in a specific sequence. And when you understand that sequence, you can start to deliberately design your life.
Let's start with that first piece then, philosophy. You call it the cornerstone. Why is it so fundamental? Because everything else is built on top of it. Your personal philosophy is the way you think, and how you think determines everything that happens to you. It's the cause, and the rest of your life is the effect. So when you say philosophy, you're not talking about something academic or complex, are you? Not at all. It's simply the sum total of everything you know and how you decide to use that knowledge. It's the filter you use to process life. It's what helps you decide what's valuable and what's not, what's right and what's wrong. It's the operating system for your mind. You have a wonderful metaphor for this. You say it's all about the set of the sail. Yes. You see, the same winds blow on us all. The wind of disaster, the wind of opportunity, the wind of change. It isn't the blowing of the wind that determines our destination. It's the set of the sail, which is our thinking, our philosophy. We can't change the wind, but we can change how we set our sail. And that philosophy, that thinking can lead to one of 2 places. You say there's a formula for failure and a formula for success. How do those work? Well, both are subtle, which is why people often miss them. The formula for failure is just a few errors in judgment repeated every day. Eating the apple instead of the candy bar doesn't seem to matter today, but repeated over 10 years, the cumulative effect is disastrous. The formula for success is just the opposite. A few simple disciplines, practiced every day. Reading 10 pages of a good book, walking around the block. These things are easy to do, but they're also easy not to do. The choice is determined by your philosophy.
So the good news is we can actively change our philosophy. If someone wants to improve the set of their sail, what should they do? You have to change the inputs. First, learn from your own experiences, both good and bad. Don't let an experience go by without harvesting the lesson. Second, get an outside voice. Learn from others. You can do this by studying the lives of successful people and, just as importantly, unsuccessful people. Read books. Keep a journal to capture ideas. By changing your inputs, you refine your philosophy.
Okay, so once that foundation of philosophy is in place, it leads directly to the second piece of the puzzle, attitude. How are the 2 connected? If philosophy is what you know, attitude is how you feel about what you know. You can have 2 people with the same knowledge, the same philosophy, but they can have wildly different feelings about it, and that creates different results. Your attitude is a choice. And a big part of attitude is how we feel about time, our past, present, and future. Absolutely. Your attitude toward the past should be to use it as a school, not as a club to beat yourself with. Learn from it and let it go. Your attitude toward the present is that it's the only time you have to act. This is where change begins. And your attitude toward the future is to design one. Create a vision so powerful and so clear that it pulls you, that it gets you up in the morning. You also say that our attitude is heavily influenced by our associations. Yes, this is critically important. You have to ask yourself, who am I around? What are they doing to me? What have they got me reading, thinking, saying? The people you spend time with are either lifting you up or dragging you down. There's very little neutral ground. So we have to be intentional about managing those associations. What are our options? You have 3. First is disassociation. Some people are so toxic, you just have to walk away. Second is limited association. These aren't bad people, they're just not helping you grow. You can spend a few minutes with them, but not a few hours. And the most important is expanded association. You must actively seek out and spend more time with people who have the qualities, skills, and mindset you admire. This brings us to the 3rd piece, activity. It feels like this is where we move from the internal world of thoughts and feelings to the external world of doing.
Exactly. A sound philosophy and a positive attitude are just potential energy. They're worthless without action. Activity is the engine that turns that potential into tangible progress. Activity is the muscle that gets you from ever grabble's reason to get into the mainstream and move in the ship.
You relate this to the parable of the talents. What's the core lesson there? The lesson is that life doesn't give you what you need. It gives you what you deserve. It rewards action. In the story, the master gives his servants talents, resources. 2 of them put their talents to work and double them. 1 buries his. The master rewards the 2 who are active and productive. It's our responsibility to do something with what we've been given.
This leads to a difficult truth, doesn't it? Sometimes we see good people fail. Why is that? It's almost always a lack of disciplined activity. They have a good heart, a good philosophy, but they do nothing. And sometimes we see dishonest people succeed, at least for a time. It's because they have a flawed philosophy, but they apply intense, consistent activity to it. Activity is the great equalizer. Good intentions are not enough. Disciplined activity, then, naturally leads to the 4th piece, results. Are results something we can control? Entirely. Results are the predictable harvest from your efforts. The law of sowing and reaping is absolute. You can't sow in the spring, fool around all summer, and expect a bountiful harvest in the fall. The results you get are a direct measure of the activity you put in. So how should we measure our results? You say there are 2 ways to look at it. Yes. The first is what you have: your bank account, your home, your assets. This is a simple, tangible way to check your progress. But the far greater reward is what you have become in the process of getting those things. The courage, the discipline, the skill, the character you develop. That is the true prize. The person you become is more valuable than the money you make. That connects perfectly to another one of your famous ideas. Success must be attracted, not pursued. What do you mean by that? It means you shouldn't chase after money or success. If you do, it will elude you. Instead, you should work on yourself. Work on your skills, your discipline, your philosophy. As you become a more valuable person, you will naturally attract success to you. It's a law, just like gravity. Become an attractive person, not in appearance, but in character and skill, and opportunity will find you. So if someone is looking at their results and they aren't happy with them, what's the first step? It's simple, but not easy. They must change. We tend to blame our circumstances, our boss, the government, but the reality is, for things to change for you, you must change. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. The change always starts from within. And when all those first 4 pieces come together, they create the 5th and final piece of the puzzle, lifestyle. That's right. Lifestyle isn't about being rich. It's about living well. It's the art of designing your life, not just making a living. It's the ultimate reward for getting the other pieces right. So, could you walk us through how all 5 pieces lock together one last time? Of course. It starts with a sound philosophy, how you think. That philosophy shapes a positive attitude, how you feel. That attitude fuels consistent, disciplined activity, what you do. That activity produces predictable results, the harvest you reap. And those results, combined, allow you to design the lifestyle you desire. It's a beautiful, logical progression. That's such a clear and powerful framework. Philosophy, attitude, activity, results, and lifestyle. How you think, how you feel, what you do, what you get, and finally, how you live. That's the whole puzzle. And the wonderful part is that you have control over every single piece, starting today. Jim, thank you for sharing the wisdom from the 5 major pieces of life's puzzle. This conversation gives our listeners a clear framework for understanding how to build a meaningful and successful life.
Thank you, Sunny. I hope these ideas encourage your listeners to take responsibility for their philosophy and make steady progress in the right direction.
This has been Sunny's Mindset Lab. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.